I asked in the chat if you guys have created your own Blazor components, and basically, and let's do one. If we just go to page, and this is the same for XAF Blazor. I want to start with Blazor, but if you need to create a Blazor component, you create Blazor component, and let's call it component XAF Blazor training. And then you have your component created. Almost all components just come with an H3, I think that it says the title of the component. So I just put it there in case Keith has not created one. So if you think about all Blazor components, they basically have 3 sections. And let me think if I can do the Summit. I haven't used it in a while, so but that one allows me to do zoom in the screen and making a little more interactive. Give me a second. Okay, Summit. This is great if you guys have any presentation or something. This program is called Summit. And let's see if it's already running. Okay. And if you see, it gives you a couple of things. If you click, and let me remember, Control-1, Control-4, and Drive Control-2. Okay, so with that one, let's say that I want to focus here. I click here. If I want to paint something, I just do here. So it's good for us to show here. So basically, every Blazor component has 3 main sections. We have the markup, that's all our HTML and everything that we need to put. And we have our code. That is what we're going to put all our code behind. Of course, talking about what Jeff was saying, we can put this component in a different, for example, we can create another class that we're going to do a partial class with this XAF Blazor training, because the compiler by default make this XAF Blazor training.razor a feature class. So we can put a partial class where we have our code over there and with HTML markup here. We can inherit, I think, from component base, so we can structure our code. So if they are not that tightly coupled, and we can focus on and create one of those patterns. Now, if we one part that we're missing here is our third section, is our directive. So right here we have a couple of directives that we can use. For example, we can use the page directory, and let's look how we can. Let's, for example, open one of these. Right here, so I don't make any spelling. And when basically we can put here XAF Blazor training, or just XAF Blazor training. So that means that when we go to our application, there's going to be a route for XAF Blazor training, and it will have this component. But there is also a inject attribute. So right here, we're going to be able to use all our services, dependency injection services, and inject it in our class, so we can actually use it anywhere. And I think that this startup class is exactly the same as we have in XAF Blazor. The only difference is like in the XAF Blazor app, we have add XAF security. You will see that the modules are started being injected there. So when we want to inject a service, and one important part to mention in dependency injection is the scope of those dependency injection is, if we have a singleton, that means that it does just one instance for everyone. Everyone that is using that application, there is only one instance of this service. If we have transient, that means that for every time that you call that service, there is a new instance created. This is going to be disposed as soon as you finish using it. And there is a scope. That means for the life of your session, you will have the same instance of the service. So with that in place, those services, they have 3 ways to inject it in your components. The first way is like we're going to inject it like we're here, and we can, for example, inject this user setting service. We can inject it here. We're not going to do it now, but we can do something like that. We can inject it in a, let's see if my intelligence want to work, and property name, that's fine. We have a parameter class that we can put here. That means that this component will ask for a parameter when you are instantiating that component, and you can actually let's say that if you have an instance of that user setting service, you can use the inject attribute right here. So those are the 3 ways to inject. Those are 2, one in the directive, one on the code behind, and the third one will be when we are actually using one of those services. Let's see if I have a service here. Yeah, we can create a constructor of this service. Generate constructor. That's fine, doesn't matter. And you can also pass the other service here. And by itself, Blazor will know how to create an instance of that services and send it to you. So with that being said, those are the main things for a component: is how to create a component, how to inject a service to a component, and then how to do JavaScript interrupt.